Welcome to AppleKnows channel. My name is Apple and today I want to take you on a journey through Asia, a continent so vast and mysterious that even people who live there for decades still uncover things that sound unbelievable. What I am about to share with you is not legend, not myth, but reality that many people don't know exists. Let's begin with something shocking. In Japan there is an island called Okinoshima, better known as Rabbit Island, where hundreds of wild rabbits roam freely. They are not shy at all, they run to people, jump onto laps, and live without predators. What makes this even stranger is that during World War II the same island was a secret base for producing chemical weapons. Imagine walking through green fields full of fluffy rabbits while knowing that underground tunnels once stored poison gas. Travel further east and you reach Mongolia, where the Gobi Desert hides dinosaur fossils so well preserved that paleontologists have found entire nests of eggs still intact. Some were discovered with embryos inside. The desert itself looks endless, but beneath that sand lies a frozen story of creatures that walked the earth more than 70 million years ago. Many locals still believe the bones belong to dragons, and that myth continued until scientists revealed the truth in the 20th century. In India, something even more puzzling happens every year in a village called Jatinga. At night, especially during September and October, hundreds of birds suddenly dive straight into the ground or buildings, almost like a mass suicide. Scientists believe it is caused by disorientation during monsoon fog combined with village lights, but for centuries locals thought it was a curse. Imagine walking in the night and seeing flocks of birds dropping from the sky without warning. And then there is North Korea, a place where reality feels stranger than fiction. Did you know it has the world's largest stadium? The Rongrado Mayday Stadium can hold around 114,000 people, bigger than any sports arena on the planet. Yet it is not used for regular football matches as you'd expect. Instead, it often hosts choreographed mass games with tens of thousands of participants moving in perfect synchronization, creating human mosaics so precise that from a distance they look like computer graphics. But perhaps one of the most mind-bending facts comes from China. In the province of Guizhou stands the world's largest radio telescope, FAST, a single dish as wide as 30 football fields. It is so sensitive that mobile phones and electronic devices are banned within miles, and entire villages were relocated so the telescope could listen to the universe without interference. Scientists hope it might even pick up signs of extraterrestrial life. So, hidden in the mountains of China, a silent giant is listening to the stars while people in nearby towns live almost cut off from modern technology. Asia is also home to a lake that defies imagination. In Kazakhstan, Lake Khandy hides an underwater forest. After an earthquake in 1911, a landslide created a natural dam that flooded the valley. Today, tall spruce trees still stand beneath the clear water like frozen ghosts, their trunks reaching toward the surface while fish swim among them. Divers who enter the lake describe the view as stepping into a drowned fairy tale. And speaking of water, in the Philippines there is a river that seems to glow with fireflies at night. On the island of Bohol, the Abitan River becomes illuminated by countless fireflies living in mangrove trees. When the night is completely dark, the scene looks as if stars have fallen from the sky and are now dancing just above the water. These are not stories meant to entertain children. They are real, documented, and in many cases studied by scientists, yet they feel almost too strange to be true. This is the magic of Asia, a continent where every corner hides something that can make you question the limits of reality. In Asia, even the everyday can feel extraordinary once you look closer. Let me take you to Cambodia, where the temple complex of Angkor Wat is so massive that from the air it looks like an entire city carved out of stone. What most people don't realize is that this is the largest religious monument in the world, and it was built in the 12th century without modern machinery. Archaeologists using laser scanning technology recently discovered that Angkor was actually part of an even larger hidden city, with roads, canals, and neighborhoods still buried under jungle vegetation. What seems like a single temple is only a small part of a lost metropolis. Now imagine traveling to Indonesia, where on the island of Java stands a volcano called Kawah Ijen. At night, instead of glowing red like normal lava, it burns bright electric blue. This strange phenomenon is caused not by the lava itself, but by sulfuric gases that catch fire when they emerge from cracks in the volcano. Visitors who dare to approach must wear gas masks, because the air is filled with choking sulfur fumes. It looks like something from science fiction, but it's completely real, a natural fire that glows like neon. In Thailand there is a festival that seems almost unbelievable, the Monkey Buffet Festival. Once a year, the town of Lopburi sets up tables filled with fruits, vegetables, and even soda bottles, but not for humans. Thousands of monkeys take over the feast, climbing onto statues, pulling food straight from plates, and drinking juice from cans like people. The event started as a way to honor monkeys, which are seen as sacred animals connected to ancient legends, and today it is both a tourist attraction and a symbol of harmony between humans and animals. If you think the ground beneath your feet is stable, consider this fact from Turkmenistan, in Central Asia. There is a massive crater in the Karakum Desert known as the Door to Hell. In 1971, Soviet engineers accidentally created it while drilling for natural gas. The ground collapsed, forming a giant pit, and poisonous gas began leaking out. To prevent disaster, they set it on fire, expecting it to burn out in a few days. Instead, it has been burning for more than 50 years. Standing on the edge, you see a fiery abyss that never goes dark. And in Japan, nature itself has created something equally surreal. In the forests of Shikoku, there are bridges made entirely from living vines. These vine bridges, some stretching 45 meters long, sway with every step. They were originally built centuries ago by mountain villagers as hidden passageways, easy to cut down in case of attack. Today, walking across them feels like crossing into another time, suspended between tradition and danger. But perhaps one of the most haunting places in Asia is Aokigahara, the sea of trees at the base of Mount Fuji. It is a dense forest so quiet that even wind seems swallowed by the trees. Because of its stillness, compasses and GPS often malfunction, disorienting travelers. The forest has a dark reputation, yet it is also breathtakingly beautiful, with twisted roots, lava caves, and moss that glows faintly in the shade. Many people know it only for its shadows, but few realize how surreal its atmosphere feels, as if nature itself were holding its breath. Let's keep going, because Asia never runs out of facts that feel unreal. Picture this: in Kazakhstan there is a massive singing dune, a mountain of sand nearly 150 meters tall and over 3 kilometers long. When the wind moves across it, or when people slide down its slopes, the sand produces a deep, resonant hum, almost like an organ playing in the desert. Travelers describe it as the earth itself singing, and it's been known for centuries as a mystical sound that echoes for miles. Scientists say it happens because dry sand grains rub against each other, but standing there, it feels more like the voice of the land. In South Korea, there's a natural phenomenon so strange that locals call it the Moses Miracle. Twice a year, the sea parts near Jindo, creating a land bridge almost 3 kilometers long that connects two islands. For just a few hours, thousands of people can walk across the seabed before the tide rises again and the path vanishes. Villagers celebrate this with a festival, parading along the exposed ocean floor, but the scene looks like something ripped from a storybook. Then there's Bhutan, a country where happiness is measured officially. Instead of focusing only on economic growth, Bhutan tracks something called gross national happiness. It takes into account mental health, environmental balance, cultural preservation, and spiritual well-being. Imagine a government that considers meditation, community rituals, and even the beauty of nature as indicators of national progress. It's a philosophy so unique that economists around the world study it, wondering if Bhutan has discovered a secret formula modern nations have overlooked. But not all strange facts are about culture. Some are hidden deep beneath the surface. In Siberia, Russia, there is Lake Baikal, the deepest lake on Earth, holding about 20% of all the world's fresh water. What most people don't know is that it's also one of the clearest lakes, where visibility can reach 40 meters deep. In winter, the ice that forms is so pure and thick that you can drive cars across it, and it looks like glass suspended above an endless blue abyss. Scientists still discover species there that exist nowhere else, including tiny transparent fish and freshwater seals. And here's something truly mind-bending from Myanmar, the Golden Rock. It is a massive granite boulder, entirely covered in gold leaf, that balances on the edge of a cliff. It seems impossible, it looks like it should fall at any moment, yet it has remained in place for centuries. Legend says it is held by a single hair of the Buddha. Pilgrims climb to the site and touch it as a blessing, and engineers admit that its equilibrium is so delicate it almost defies explanation. Lastly, let's travel to China once more. In Sichuan, there are giant stone statues of hands carved directly into cliffs and valleys, some more than 1,000 years old. But the most jaw-dropping of them all is the Lesan giant Buddha, a stone statue 71 meters tall, carved into a mountain. It took monks 90 years to complete, and they designed a hidden drainage system inside the statue so that rain wouldn't erode it. Standing before it, you feel small, like a single grain of sand beside something carved by titans. In China's Zhejiang province lies the submerged city of Shichang, often called the Atlantis of the East. Over 1,300 years old, the city was deliberately flooded in the 1950s to build a hydroelectric dam. Today, it sits preserved beneath 40 meters of water. Divers who descend into the depths find entire stone archways, carvings, and streets perfectly intact, as though time itself stopped when the waters rose. Walking through it feels like drifting through a dream where an ancient civilization still sleeps. Now let me take you to India, where in the temple town of Thanjavur stands a granite temple tower that weighs an estimated 80 tons. The mystery is how ancient builders, more than 1,000 years ago, managed to lift such colossal blocks to the top of the temple without cranes or modern machinery. Some theories suggest they built a massive ramp stretching kilometers long to roll the stone upward, but no trace of such a ramp remains. For centuries, the engineering feat has left experts stunned. Travel north into Kazakhstan again and you'll find something eerie: the Aral Sea, once the fourth largest lake in the world. Due to Soviet irrigation projects, it has nearly dried up, leaving shipwrecks stranded in desert sand. Walking among rusted fishing boats that now lie miles from water feels like standing in a post-apocalyptic landscape. It's one of the clearest examples of how human decisions can reshape nature on a massive scale, transforming a thriving sea into an empty wasteland. And speaking of strange transformations, in South Korea, there is a volcanic island called Jeju that hides an enormous lava tube, one of the largest in the world. This underground tunnel, formed by flowing lava, stretches for over 7 kilometers and is so big in places that you could fit buildings inside it. When explorers first entered, they found rock formations shaped like frozen waterfalls, glowing minerals on the walls, and a silence so deep it felt like being inside the Earth's lungs. In Pakistan, something happens that seems almost too bizarre to accept. In the Hunza Valley, locals are known for extraordinary longevity, with many reportedly living past 100 years in good health. Researchers link this to their diet of apricots, glacier water, and natural foods, combined with an active lifestyle at high altitudes. Whether science or legend, the valley has gained a reputation as a real-world Shangri-La, where time seems to slow down and life itself stretches longer. But one of the strangest facts of all can be found in Japan, where there are vending machines everywhere, not just for snacks or drinks, but for almost anything you can imagine. Fresh eggs, umbrellas, hot meals, flowers, even ties for businessmen running late. With over 4 million vending machines, Japan has the highest density in the world, turning an ordinary walk down the street into a surreal journey where every corner hides a machine ready to sell you something unexpected. And if you think that's unusual, wait until you hear this: in Laos, there is a place known as the Plain of Jars, where thousands of massive stone jars, some weighing several tons, are scattered across the land. No one truly knows who built them or why. Some believe they were ancient burial urns, others say they stored food or wine. They are so mysterious that the site is often compared to Stonehenge, yet far fewer people outside Asia have even heard of it. Imagine stepping into Turkmenistan's capital, Ashgabat. At first glance, it looks like a futuristic mirage: endless white marble buildings, golden domes, and bizarre monuments rising in the desert. Guinness World Records lists Ashgabat as the city with the highest concentration of white marble structures on Earth. Walking its empty, polished streets under the blazing sun, you feel as though you've entered a dream city built more for display than for people. In the Philippines, there is something equally surreal beneath the ground: the Puerto Princesa underground river. This natural wonder flows for more than 8 kilometers directly under limestone mountains, with chambers so vast they resemble cathedrals. What's truly mind-bending is that the river flows directly into the sea, creating a rare mix of saltwater and freshwater ecosystems inside a single cave. Paddling through it feels like slipping into another world where light and darkness are locked in an endless dance. Now travel with me to Tibet, where the air is thin and the peaks scrape the sky. Here stands Mount Everest, the tallest mountain on Earth, but few people know that it is still growing. Each year, tectonic activity pushes it upward by about 4 millimeters. So the highest point on our planet is not fixed, it is a mountain that continues to rise, year by year, silently reaching further into the heavens. In Vietnam, a cave was discovered so massive that it could swallow skyscrapers. Sun Dong, hidden in the jungle, is the largest cave on Earth, with sections over 200 meters tall. It even has its own ecosystem, jungles, rivers, and unique weather patterns inside. Clouds form beneath its roof, and explorers describe standing inside it as being in a separate planet, untouched by time. If we move back into Japan, something almost magical occurs every spring. Along the coast of Toyama Bay, firefly squid rise to the surface of the water at night, glowing with a neon blue light. Thousands of them shimmer against the waves, transforming the shoreline into a glowing sea of stars. It happens only for a short period each year, and witnessing it feels like standing between the sky and the ocean, both lit by constellations. And then there's Iran, where in the Lut Desert lies one of the hottest places ever recorded on Earth. Satellite measurements once captured ground temperatures of 70.7 degrees Celsius, so high that even bacteria struggle to survive. The desert landscape looks otherworldly, filled with sharp ridges and towering formations carved by the wind. It is a place so extreme that stepping into it feels like setting foot on another planet. Finally, in Nepal, there's a ritual unlike any other, the Kumari tradition. A young girl is chosen as the living goddess, believed to be the earthly incarnation of divine power. She lives in a temple, revered by thousands, and is not allowed to touch the ground outside her residence until she loses her divine status. This tradition has continued for centuries, blurring the line between human and deity in a way that challenges the very idea of what it means to be sacred. In Kyrgyzstan, nestled high in the mountains, there is a lake called Issyk. It never freezes, even though it sits at an altitude of over 1,600 meters where winters are brutally cold. Beneath its waters, divers have discovered ruins that some claim belonged to an ancient city swallowed by the lake centuries ago. Archaeologists have found artifacts, walls, and structures beneath the surface, fueling theories of a lost civilization hidden in plain sight. Now journey with me to Malaysia, where in the state of Sabah stands Mount Kinabalu, one of the most biologically diverse places on Earth. What makes it shocking is that on its slopes grow plants you'd think belonged in science fiction. The Rafflesia, the largest flower in the world, can reach over a meter wide. It smells like rotting flesh, earning it the nickname corpse flower, and it attracts flies instead of bees. Seeing it bloom in the jungle feels like encountering a living alien organism. In Uzbekistan, you'll find Samarkand and Bokhara, ancient cities along the Silk Road that dazzled travelers for centuries. Their turquoise domes, mosaics, and madrasas are so intricately detailed that even modern architects struggle to explain how craftsmen achieved such precision with primitive tools. And hidden in Samarkand's history is the Ulu Beg Observatory, built in the 15th century, where a ruler astronomer charted the stars with such accuracy that his measurements of the year's length were within seconds of what we use today. But perhaps nothing is more surreal than what happens in Bangladesh during the monsoon season. The rivers rise so high that entire floating schools and libraries were created to ensure children can still study. Boats equipped with classrooms, solar panels, and libraries drift through villages, picking up students who would otherwise be cut off by floods. It's a vision of resilience where education literally sails on water. Let's move to Mongolia, where nomads have a tradition that sounds almost impossible. Every year, eagle hunters ride horseback through the mountains with golden eagles perched on their arms. These birds, with wingspans over 2 meters, are trained to hunt foxes and even wolves. The bond between hunter and eagle is so deep that the birds live with the families for years before being released back into the wild. Watching a rider gallop across the steppe with an eagle soaring beside him feels like stepping into an epic tale from the past. In Japan again, there's a railway station that truly redefines the concept of travel. Tsurayumi Hirashi Station has no entrances or exits. It was built only for passengers to stop and admire the view of the river and mountains. Trains halt there, doors open, and people simply step off to look at the landscape before reboarding. It exists purely for the beauty of pausing, not for going anywhere. And then in China's Yunnan province, something extraordinary glows in the night. There are mountains where thousands of red lanterns illuminate ancient villages built into cliffs, lighting up terraces that look like steps descending into eternity. These rice terraces, carved by hand over 1,300 years ago, are not only functional but also one of the most breathtaking human-made landscapes in the world. When the water reflects the lanterns and stars, it feels like standing on the edge of two worlds, the earthly and the celestial. And that's where we close today's journey through Asia's most mind-bending realities. From glowing squid to lost cities beneath lakes, from deserts burning for decades to mountains that keep rising into the sky, this continent proves again and again that the line between impossible and real is thinner than we think. I'm Apple from AppleKnows channel, and I hope these truths left you questioning just how much of the world you really know. Because in Asia, the facts often sound stranger than fiction. Until next time, stay curious, because reality always has another surprise waiting.